Now in our last lesson we talked about E-type bar chords. They're the kind of bar chords that look like they have E chords within them. If you notice this shape that I'm doing, it looks kind of like an E major or an E minor, just moved down. But in this lesson we're going to be talking about A-type bar chords. Now if you'll remember, we learned the A major chord, like so, and we've learned an A minor chord, like that. When we do these kind of chords, they're going to have these shapes in them. So the first thing that we've got to do is determine which fret we're going to be at, and that will tell us which chord it actually is, like A, B, C, D, or whatever. So here on the 5th string, let's go over the names of the notes. We've got A, B at the 2nd fret, C at the 3rd fret, D at the 5th fret, E at the 7th, F at the 8th, and then G at the 10th. So we've got our A major chord that we learned, and let's say that we want to play a C major bar chord. We would simply pretend that we're already barring here, and then we would shift that over until the index finger is at whichever note C is. And so we just mentioned how C is at the 3rd fret, so we would press at the 3rd fret and make sure that we're barring the 5th and the 1st, that those are pressing down, and then we'll play our C major bar chord. Now you could also play the C major bar chord this way, but it makes it a lot more difficult to get that 1st string note ringing, unless you're really quite double jointed with that ring finger. This is probably a more common way of doing it. You can also do some neat little tricks if you do it this way, where you go, and you've probably heard that kind of thing on different songs. But anyway, here's a way to do it, this C major chord, and making sure that we get that 1st string ringing out. Now, if you'll remember, we played the A minor chord this way, but let's say that we want to play a minor bar chord that is an A-type bar chord. We would want to sort of put it in this position, alright? And then, so that now you'll have the middle finger on the 2nd string at the 1st fret, the pinky at the 3rd string on the 2nd fret, and the ring finger on the 4th string at the 2nd fret. So you'll take that and then shift that over to whichever chord we want. So let's say we want C minor, then we've got that. And let's say we want D minor. So we would just shift until we get to the D note on the 5th string, which happens to be the 5th fret on the 5th string, and then we would play our shape like so. So again, whichever note you're at on the 5th string, that's what chord it is. So if we wanted, let's say, E major, we could do it that way, or we could do it this way. And the further we go up, the more difficult it is to sort of cram all these fingers in there. So a lot of the time this makes more sense as we get higher up the fretboard. But be sure that you don't get confused about where the name of the note is coming from. So if you're playing these kinds of chords, or these kinds of chords, make sure that you understand that it's the 5th string note that's giving you the chord name, and not the 6th string note, because this is an A major chord, and this is a D major chord. Thanks for listening.